It all began on a quiet suburban street, where every house looked perfect and every lawn seemed flawless. But behind the white picket fences, tension simmered. Emily had just moved into her dream home, excited to start a new chapter. Yet, she quickly noticed HOA Karen, a woman infamous in the neighborhood for controlling every detail of everyone's life. Her eyes followed Emily like a hawk, and she seemed to take personal offense at Emily simply existing. The first week, Karen appeared at Emily's door, critiquing her mailbox, her flowers, even the curtains. Emily tried to stay polite, but it became clear Karen thrived on control. Then came the breaking point. Emily realized she needed to change her front door locks due to a security issue. What should have been a normal, responsible homeowner decision quickly turned into a nightmare. Karen's fury wasn't subtle. She stormed around the neighborhood, telling everyone Emily had violated HOA rules, and hinted at threats that made Emily's heart pound. Emily tried to reason with her, but Karen's cold, calculated smile only grew wider. The storm was coming, and Emily could feel it. Something in Karen's stare told her this wouldn't end quietly. Little did Emily know, the day she changed her locks would be the day everything flipped, in ways no one saw coming. And Karen had no idea what was about to happen. The morning Emily decided to replace her locks, she quietly called a locksmith. She didn't want drama, she just wanted safety. But no matter what she did, word somehow traveled fast. HOA Karen was waiting nearby like a shadow, ready to pounce. When Emily opened the door to the locksmith, Karen appeared, clutching her HOA rulebook as if it were a weapon. "You can't just change your locks. That's illegal," she shouted, eyes blazing. Emily's patience cracked. "Karen, this is my home. My safety comes first." That simple statement seemed to infuriate her neighbor even more. Moments later, Emily's phone rang. She barely recognized the caller ID, 911. Karen had already called, framing the situation as an emergency. Emily froze. Panic rushed through her, but deep down, she knew she had done nothing wrong. She had proof of ownership, the receipts for the locksmith, and the legal right to secure her home. As sirens neared, Karen's expression shifted, first smug, then subtly anxious. Emily realized that this confrontation was about more than locks. It was about power, authority, and the illusion that Karen held control over the neighborhood. And when the officers arrived, Emily had one last secret that would leave Karen speechless. The police cruiser rolled to a stop in front of Emily's house, its lights flashing faintly in the morning sun. Karen immediately pointed, voice high-pitched, "She's breaking the law." But the two officers stepping out had a calm, measured presence. Emily greeted them politely, showing her ID, home ownership documents, and receipts for the locksmith. "I just changed my locks for safety," she explained. The officers listened carefully, their expressions neutral. Karen's confidence began to waver, the first cracks in her self-assured posture appeared. Emily noticed it but stayed composed, her heartbeat steady. Every word mattered now. Karen tried again, desperately, but it's against HOA rules. One officer tilted his head slightly, clearly suppressing a smile. "HOA rules don't override the law," he said calmly. Karen's face turned pale, her voice faltering. Emily could feel the power shift subtly but unmistakably. It was the kind of moment you only see in movies, the moment when someone who believes they control everything realizes the world doesn't bend to them. And then came the final moment that made Emily's entire plan worth it, the officer's salute. Karen's jaw dropped as the respect and authority were unmistakably clear. Karen stood frozen, unable to speak. Emily's chest rose and fell steadily, calm as a lake, as the officers went through their routine. They inspected the locks, verified Emily's documentation, and asked simple questions. With each answer, Karen's anger melted into disbelief. She had imagined herself the ultimate arbiter of justice in the neighborhood, but here, law and order didn't belong to her. Emily silently watched, heart pounding with a mix of anxiety and satisfaction. Then, the moment came. The officers turned to Karen, professional and polite, and said, "Ma'am, everything is legal and above board. There's nothing to report." Karen's mouth opened, closed, and opened again. No words came out. The very woman who had dominated the street, the one who had spread rumors and threats, suddenly had no power. Emily felt a strange calmness, a quiet victory that didn't need shouting or confrontation. It was as if the universe had quietly balanced the scales. Karen stepped back, fumbling for words, but the officer's presence and their respectful acknowledgement of Emily left her completely mute. Emily realized this was more than just about locks, it was about reclaiming her peace, her home, and her dignity. The neighborhood watched silently, some from behind curtains, others from across the street. Whispers circulated, curious and hushed. Karen, usually loud and commanding, was now quiet, her confidence evaporated. Emily returned inside, locking the door behind her, the sound now filled with a sense of triumph. She realized how much fear Karen had tried to impose, how much invisible pressure had weighed on every resident. Emily's calm resilience had not only protected her home but also made a statement. This wasn't revenge, it was proof that dignity, composure, and preparation could overcome even the most overbearing neighbors. From the living room, Emily watched Karen retreat to her house. Muttering to herself, plotting silently, but powerless to undo the truth. And while Emily's day started with anxiety, it ended with clarity. She had faced intimidation and emerged not just unscathed, but stronger. In that quiet, suburban street, life resumed, yet everything had changed. Karen's reputation had cracks now, visible to everyone, while Emily had earned silent respect even if unspoken, it was unmistakable. Days passed, but the tension lingered like a shadow. Karen avoided Emily entirely, unable to find footing after the police visit. Neighborhood gatherings felt different, whispers of the incident followed her like a ghost. Emily continued her life, tending her garden, keeping her house in order, smiling quietly at neighbors who now greeted her with subtle nods of approval. She realized that courage isn't loud, it's quiet, unwavering, and rooted in truth. Meanwhile, Karen's attempts to reassert dominance fell flat, often resulting in awkward silences or confused looks. Emily had become a symbol, though she hadn't sought it. She had simply acted within her rights, calmly and firmly. And sometimes, that was all it took to turn the tide. Every time Emily saw Karen flustered or muttering, she smiled inwardly, knowing the balance of power had shifted, not with anger or retaliation, but with composure, lawfulness, and quiet dignity. Finally, the neighborhood settled back into normal rhythm, but the story of Emily and Karen spread quietly, leaving lessons behind. Emily had faced intimidation, overreach, and unnecessary fear, yet had remained calm and prepared. Karen, once a force of control, had learned that respect, authority, and law could not be manipulated by arrogance or fear. Emily's doors were locked, her home secure, and her confidence intact. The officer's salute had symbolized more than law, it symbolized validation, respect, and the ultimate victory of composure over hostility. And that was the final twist in this unbelievable HOA story. If you love the drama, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment sharing your thoughts, it really helps this channel grow.